Annyeonghaseyo! Welcome to Afternoona Delight, where Leah, Megan, and Amy, romance novelists and your K-romance guides. So grab some dekboki and listen to your new favorite unnies. Hey, everybody.
Hello. Hi there.
So, you know what? Today we are having a topic that could feel controversial, but I don't want it to.
Yeah, I think we're good at riding the line.
Yes. And so do one of you kind of want to get into kind of what we're going to be doing today, or do you want me to do it? How would you like to work it?
You came up with it, so go for it.
That's what I was wondering.
Yeah.
So basically, I was like, so I'm just going to out myself.
I wasn't gonna.
What happened is I just didn't do the homework.
Well, you mixed up the dates, and
I mixed up the date. So I didn't willfully not do the homework.
Exactly.
But we had a drama we were supposed to do, and I thought it was next week. It was literally this week. So I didn't start it because I've been super, super busy. And so I was and I know it's kind of like an emotional, I can't remember the name of it. Can you remind me the name?
Way Back Love.
Way Back Love. And so
you do need the time to be able to sit and watch it.
And I just know it's going to be like affecting me. And so I want to watch it like when I'm not like rushed. And so I was like, come Friday, like I will be able to put a little bit more brain energy to it. So I kind of just planned that out.
Yeah.
You know what? It's actually kind of good because now we're giving listeners fair warning that we're doing Way Back Love.
We're
recording it next week, but it won't drop for a couple weeks after that. So you have some time.
Yeah.
And to listen to watch.
Yeah, and
Way
heads
Back
up, it's only 6 episodes. It's on Viki. Bring tissues, but it's worth it.
My favorite drama of 2025 so far.
Yeah, me too.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I think that I just want to say, yeah, that's so then when I didn't do the homework, it was like, well, I have some ownership and like, what are we going to do? And so,
yeah, but you're really good at coming up with ideas anyway.
Yeah.
You really are.
So, yeah. So I think I tried to come up with something. Basically, I was like, well, I'm going to come up with something that like feels like I've been laughing because my daughter's been watching RuPaul's Drag Race. Both my daughters have. But Poppy has been now pretend shooting RuPaul. Like she's got her own show called P and V because her friend's got a name with B. P and V's Drag Race. And so she'll do these like she'll have her like neighbor friends come over and dress them up in drag and then pretend to host them. And then she makes these fake YouTube videos because we don't let her post. But she'll be like, #click and subscribe. And then she'll like, be like, I need to come up with like what the hook is. Like, it's kind of crazy.
Honestly, that's really creative and
adorable.
fun.
Yeah,
I actually love
that.
that.
I was thinking about with this. I was like, okay, #link subscribe. What's going to be like our thing? And I was like, you know what? Let's just go for like, we're not doing, we don't do reaction stuff on here, but I was like, let's go with controversial hot takes. Like, what are things? Yeah. And actually not even controversial, just hot takes.
Just hot takes. Yeah.
And, that's how we came up with the idea. So we didn't come up with it because I also felt like today was a day that somebody was like, I also really value, like in our DM, somebody was like, I really value how you don't like encourage yucking yums and things like that. And then I'm like, okay, that's not what so I really want to make sure that we like said it at the beginning. We will talk about our hot takes. Some of them will be positive. Some of them will be negative. And this is a space where if you have something that you really like and we dunk on it, we heard from some listeners where they really like they dunk on some things we really like. It's all done with like a level of respect. Like you can still like not yucking a yum doesn't mean like you have to like everything or just be quiet. If you don't like something, you can kind of share it, but you're not doing it in a way that's like mean-spirited or insulting.
Right. Yeah, I actually really like hearing if I really love something, I actually don't mind hearing as long as they're doing it like in a respectful way. They're not just like, hey, this is stupid.
Well, that's the thing. That's yucking someone's yum.
Yeah. But if you're just like, I didn't like it for these reasons, but I respect why you liked it. That's actually really fascinating to me. I would say as a writer, like if I kind of turn off like my fandom brain and turn on my writer brain, I really like it because I'm like, okay, cool. Explain to me why you didn't like this and how it didn't work for you, because that would likely like help me.
Yep.
So the only thing I never want someone to feel comfortable coming and telling me they don't like is don't ever come and tell me that you don't like BTS because I will not be reasonable.
Right. Well, yeah,
Not in life. I have much reasonableness. I don't really mind. Like, I enjoy when people are like, Moon Lovers made me crazy. I'm like, that's fine. I don't mind.
Right.
I'm just letting anyone know because I get a lot of like messages just like we all do. That's the only thing I'm never going to be reasonable to you about. Besides that, I am wide open.
Yeah. I think I Am Not a Robot is the only one I'm not like fully willing to take like big criticism on. Like I'll take small criticisms, but if you just like tell me the drama didn't work, I'm going to like actively be like, you are wrong. You are wrong because that drama worked. And these are the reasons why. But
Yeah,
other
I mean,
than
I
that,
will argue things back for sure. I'm just saying the only thing that's going to make me like need to give you the direct cut if we're going to go in Regency terms where I'm like, you had a hot take and now I can't be friends with you
right.
is that because that feels personal. So don't do it.
It does. It does. It does. Um, hey, it was cute. Hazel was asking me today who my bias in ATs was, and then she asked me who my bias in BTS was, and I was like, I'm still working on who my bias is. Like, I like there are several in the running, and I haven't decided yet. Will I decide? Yes. I think I'm kind of waiting for like their come back together as a group, but like I'm forming my front runners. And it was really cute because she's like, it's either Jimin or Jin. I'm not sure. I really like Jimin. And it was just really cute to like hear her like say, she
Good
loves
for her.
Jimin. But then she compared him to a Thai BL actor she likes. And that's what she likes.
I love that she's just in it now. I love she's
She
in the
is.
world.
Well, and now that she's into, because we were talking before we got in line about how Hazel, Megan's daughter, has been really into Thai BL. The
Loves
other
it.
things, especially if those are two BTS members that she's like kind of enjoying, I really recommend. They're both in like shows that they did, like they recorded, well, one recorded pre-enlistment and one recorded now. So Are You Sure is on Disney. I'm obsessed with Are You Sure? I don't know what it is about the crack that isn't Are You Sure? It is so boring. And I'm saying that with love. Like,
She might
I'm
like
just
it.
saying the stakes are non-existent. I'm not going to be crazy and gross about it, but it does something to me on like a lot of levels. I recommend her watching that because it's like stellar Jimin. And
Okay.
then Jin is in Keon's Bizarre B&B, which is on Netflix, number one show in Korea on Netflix at the moment. And
And it is a very bizarre B&B.
and Poppy enjoys watching it with me. Like Poppy and I have like kicked back and watched it just because the B&B is redonkulous.
Like, I did not know what I was in for when I started it. I'm like, what? I messaged Leah, I'm like, what in fresh hell is this B&B?
Yeah. It looks like my worst
Because
fucking
the only way to get into it is to climb a rock wall or climb a fireman's pole.
No, the fireman's pole's inside. So you have to
It's
climb a rock wall
inside.
to
Yeah,
go in. Yeah.
the rock wall's on the outside. The fireman's pole's on the inside.
So the fireman's pole is my villain origin story because, and okay, this is a digression, but you know what? This is Korean content, so this feels fair. Here's my hot take. Here's
There you
my
go.
hot take on Keon's Bizarre B&B. Keon's a man. Enough said for the design of this place.
Yeah.
So,
well, my whole time watching just even him designing it, I'm like, this is not ADA compliant. Anyway, shape or form.
That's amazing.
How he creates it, it's like a floating barge, so it's on the water. But so to get into it, you have to go up this rock climbing wall. There are slides, but like he kind of bans the slides from being used. But so that's beyond the point. Like that's the easier part to get in. Once you're in, if you want to eat to go into the kitchen, you have to go down a fireman's hole.
I would break my tailbone.
You have to eat, and then you have to climb, like
get back up
the fireman's.
That's not with my arm muscles.
And I'm like, what? I mean, I was just like, you know what? This is not something that's setting the majority of women up for success. And I'm not saying that today. I'm just saying that like, it's just like most women don't have a ton of. Some women are going to crush it, of course.
No,
many
not
are
me.
not, and are going to need to have support to get up.
Our center of gravity is completely different than men's. Like, it's a whole thing.
So yeah, so the fireman's pole is my villain origin story, just because I was like, out of all the things, I was just like, you're making it so that like somebody can't just like independently be like, I've enjoyed my meal that I had to eat with no utensils, because that was another fun fact of the bar. Like, he was like, isn't it funny that we get to like eat with our hands? And then, yeah, now I have to like climb up this pole. So
and then the beds are outside, jutting off of the walls.
Yeah, so the beds are outside with no cover, and so of course it rains, And so it's not that they're just outside. There's no like awning, there's no protection. They're just sleeping out and they have these like kind of like shoulder straps they like buckle into and they sleep on these platforms. And I think my other hot take on this that is when it rained, Jen stayed outside. The majority of people went inside.
Because they have actual guests. Like that's the whole
so
thing is they're like running the B&B for actual guests.
So the guests go inside, fair. But the person who designed the entire House of Horrors also went inside, which I'm like, F you, bro. F you. And so Jen staying outside bums me out because I also feel like when you're a member of a group like BTS, like you do have like a bullseye in your back. And yes, it's fun and games, but yes, you also are like, you're going to have to be like the Boy Scoutiest, like most go along person because any sense of like you in a bad mood or grumpy or princessy.
Yeah. Are expecting special treatment.
Yeah, absolutely. And so I'm like, he could have gone inside, I guess, but I understand also like why you wouldn't because, you know, you're kind of having to be like in some ways like bigger, larger than life. Like you are the goodest of them all. And so, yeah, he stayed outside and slept out there. And I mean, yes, he's fresh off of his military service and stuff, but I just felt like, oh man, like, yeah. So he is, yeah. Kian from Kian's Bizarre B&B is a villain origin story for me in many ways, but mostly with the fireman's pole in the kitchen that.
Okay, I will tell Hazel because Jimin and Jin are her too right now. And she also, like, I've noticed when talking to her about BLs, she doesn't like the ones that have toxic relationships. She doesn't like toxicity. She doesn't like red flags. She likes like the sweeter stuff, or she likes like, I think like action, or she just finished one that was like a horror one with a Dead Friend Forever, I think it was called. She just finished that. She's like, I was really into it. And I even cried a little bit. And I was like, okay.
Okay.
So I'll tell her. So she might like the Jimin one as well. I think she would. So awesome.
Yeah, I will talk to her about that any day. Let's just move on because the hot take is nobody needs to hear me talk about Are You Sure? Because
it was just well, it's funny because she was like reminiscing with me in the car today too. She's like, when did you first introduce me to ATs?
Oh,
I was like, Hazel, you're 12. Like, it's not been that long. Like, it was very
I was
funny.
but a 7-year-old.
Yeah. It was so cute. All right. Anyway, let's get into it. I'm pretty excited about this. I actually was like in the car on my computer writing down my hot takes, and I actually had fun doing that.
I did mine in the car too. And I also you sent me a reel that I saw on Instagram. Megan, you sent me a reel and that gave me an idea for a hot take too. So I was appreciative of that.
I like sending I feel like the reels I send Amy are like just something hits me. Something like Aaliyah's a little bit easier. I just send her like kind of cracked out ones. But Amy's are always like, I just feel like they're really tailored to Amy. And I just
well, it's funny the hot take it made me come up with because it's one that I think you two will have something to say about. So
okay, cool.
I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I was
gonna say we did also throw this out to our Patreon, so we're gonna be reading some of their hot takes too. And I admit that I get comfort from going through like what some of our patrons are saying because like I commiserate, right? Like I'm like, you have the same feeling that I do, and I'm glad I'm not the only one kind of thing. And then we had a patron who didn't want to post their hot take until they saw somebody else said the same thing because they were too nervous to be the one with that hot take. And guess what? Somebody else had it. So we are not alone in our hot takes. You are not alone in your hot takes.
Yeah, and we also disagree with some of the hot takes on Patreon, but like we're gonna tell you what they are because their hot takes are just as important as ours, even though it's our podcast. Still important. So
where should we? I'm wondering if we should start with Meet Cute because Meet Cute feels like the way to start anything. Like that's how we begin a drama.
Sure. So start with a hot take on a Meet Cute.
Yeah.
Because I do want to point out also being the type A person that I am. Leah came up with this great idea when we weren't going to do Way Back Love, and I was grateful for that. And both Leah and Megan were like, all right, cool, we'll come up with hot takes and we'll meet up tomorrow. And I was like, okay, but I need an assignment. So I'm like, I can't just go and come up with some hot takes and like I need to categorize it. So I gave us some categories to get it a little bit more organized because I always need a homework assignment. And so that's where we're going with this. So if you have hot takes that you want to share with us, you do not have to be in any of these categories. These are just ones that, I kind of thought of on the fly. And you guys added some stuff in too. So just want to let y'all know, share any hot takes you want. They don't have to be the same as these.
Right. Yep. I want to hear your meet cute then, Amy. Your hot take.
So my meet cute, what's interesting, because this drama got brought up in our Patreon too. So my hot take on a meet cute, although I don't know how hot of a take it is, but my hot take on a meet cute is from Coffee Prince.
Okay.
I hate the way the hero and the heroine meet. I shouldn't say I hate the way they meet, because the meeting is good. So Unchan and Hankyul meet because Unchan is a food delivery person. And Unchan brings an order to Hankyul. And that's the towel. I think that's the towel scene, right? Where he's like man spreading in a towel.
Oh my God.
That part is great. And that part is great, right? So that part starts great. But then what it turns into is Hankyul figures out, this is where Leah and I almost left the drama. Then Hankyul figures out that he can use this delivery person to his advantage. And it's not the same day, I don't believe, because this is already years ago that I watched Coffee Prince. But basically, the way that their initial meeting kind of continues is Hankyul propositions Unchan to pretend to be his boyfriend because he thinks Unchan is male, because they present male. And you know what? This is back before anybody's talking about anything trans in Korea. But I do love Unchan's character. But Hankyul thinks that Unchan is male and asks Unchan to pose as his gay lover and basically bust in on all of his blind dates that his family is sending him on because he's a chaebol and they want him to get married. And that part gave me the biggest ick of all the icks. It almost made me leave the drama. But I stuck with it because I knew it was a classic and I knew that everybody loved it. And it was Gong Yu, right? I'm coming off of Goblin here. And it does turn itself around. And if you're okay with, like, again, not yucking your yum if it didn't bother you, but it bothered me. But it didn't ruin the drama for me because I did think the drama turned itself around beautifully. And yeah, it's one of those dramas that I'm very glad that I stuck with and watched past the part that was giving me the ick.
How about you, Megan?
So the only meet cute that I really didn't love, so this, like, I have some of my hot takes are things that I really liked, but this is one thing. So I would say it's not like all these hot takes are going to be negative, but I didn't like the meet cute in Suspicious Partner, because so that's when she thinks, so that's Ji Chong Uk and, oh my gosh, what is the female lead's name now? I forget. Shoot. I love her too. It just like slipped my mind. They're on the bus together and she thinks he like essentially assaults her. Like she thinks he groped her. And the reason I don't like it is because I think it kind of makes a joke out of like the situation. That happens on the bus, like that happens in public spaces. It's not funny. It's violating. And I just don't like, and I don't mean to be like, if people are like, it's not that serious. I know it's not that serious, but I just didn't like it. Because I was sort of like, you knew it was mistaken. You knew it was a mistake. You knew that he didn't do it. So then it just felt like this like artificial conflict between them to set them up as like enemies to lovers. But it wasn't like a fun situation for me. Like it's like,
right. It's not a cute. It's not a cute misunderstanding.
It's not a cute misunderstanding. It's kind of like an icky misunderstanding. And then I've also like it feels to me then you immediately, because this is what happens with like rumors, like you immediately like color the male lead with this, even though he didn't do it. So it's just not my favorite meet cute. I absolutely love that drama. There's obviously you can dislike something and then also love it or the rest of it or whatever. But that was one meet cute that like I really could have done without.
And the actress is Nam Ji-hyun.
Thank you.
I looked her up. I didn't just
name.
remember that. Yeah, no, I looked it up because I didn't remember either. And I want to give her credit because she's fantastic.
Thank you. Nam Ji-hyun is so great in that drama. I absolutely love her. So thank you. I appreciate that.
Okay. The meet cute that I'm going to say I do not like it, and I'm going to say this as like that's like a muted response. I will say I really don't like it.
Oh,
And I'm going to rant on why a little bit.
okay.
And I don't feel like it's controversial, but I also see why some people would appreciate it. So I don't think either of you watched this drama, which is King the Land.
No.
I
Okay.
saw the first few episodes, so
I saw
Yeah.
episode 1. That was it, because we did a first
Oh,
episode
Then here
watch.
we go. Then
Yeah.
great. You all are going to be caught up for me on this
Yeah.
one. So the meet cute that occurs in King the Land is we have the heroine excitedly testing out like a toilet in like a glassed bathroom.
Oh my God, I forgot this is how they. Oh my God.
And
Oh, I
he's
hated
in
this.
the space and they make eye contact while she's taking a giant shit.
Yep.
And when I say I don't like slapstick humor, this is the kind of humor that like does not work for me. I don't, and so I'm going to say like in general, I don't find, and I'm not like a prude. It's not like I'm like, oh, I cannot
No,
do
but
like
it's meant to humiliate the heroine. And I don't like, like it. And I don't dig that either.
And toilet humor for me is just not it. Like I'm just like the only time I thought toilet humor that I've enjoyed toilet humor was in I'm Not a Robot because it tied in kind of well to the plot in that like she's meant to be a robot. So then when you kind of unpack what happens with
Right.
the
And then she has food poisoning.
yeah.
Like, yeah, so a robot shouldn't have like bodily smells, so it's funny. Correct. I agree. I like that. But
Yeah.
in general, I'm with you. I don't like it either.
Yeah, I don't want to be thinking about so my hot take is I don't want to think about poop in my romance.
Yeah, fair.
Totally.
And there is a lot of toilet humor that can come up from times, but to have a whole meet cute where she's literally like pantyhose around the ankles, in the hotel toilet, just like living her life, releasing her energy, just shitting her brains out. And then he comes in. It's just like, I was like, you know what?
Like, why are we doing this?
No.
Like, yeah, I was like, what do you want me to feel? Like, am I supposed to think it's funny? Am I supposed to be like, like, I was just like, I mean, honestly, I'm just grossed out. And like, and yes, it's either embarrassing. So I'm having the cringe. And I was just trying to think like how, like if I put that into a book and I was just like, ooh, my meet cute's going
Oh
to be
my
this. I'd be like,
No.
I would expect people to be like, what are you? No, like, no.
The whole point of a meet cute is to get you excited about these two people being together. Even if there is something awkward can happen, and sometimes that works. But like when you put somebody again in like a humiliating situation, that doesn't get me excited for those people to see each other again, because she's going to remember that she was doing that the last time she saw him.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, I guess there's an element of transference where you kind of do, like, to some degree, have, like, like your escapism and you kind of project onto people. I certainly don't want to be meeting somebody when I'm in the middle of, like, a dookie. Like, that doesn't feel good to me. But yeah, so I'm just going to say in general, though, my hot take is, like, toilet humor is just almost always not for me. There are rare exceptions where I'm going to be like, that's fine. But in general, I feel like it's just not it. Like, I don't want it in my romance. So my hot take is no toilets in romance. Unless it's a robot.
They did that in Mad for Each Other too.
I was just
remember, and I didn't I remember I almost stopped watching drama. I was like, if this drama is going to be toilet humor and like extended toilet humor, because the whole part of that drama, the first episode where they meet is that he's like, they live in the same apartment. He's like running home because he has to take a shit, and she thinks he's stalking her. Which again, she has like trauma based on stalking. So it's like, I don't also love that we're also like torturing the heroine through like more trauma just because it's like extended. Remember, like I felt like it went on forever where he has to shit, and so I agree with you. I didn't like it there either.
Yeah, you're right.
And
that was not for me there.
it almost made me drop the drama, which would have been really upsetting because it's absolutely spectacular. And the rest of the drama isn't like that. So like, why are you up front? I guess I don't know. It's just
There's
not my type.
there's better ways to meet. There's just better ways to meet.
Here, I am going to repudiate, because if you're an Eagle Eye listener and you just heard me say, "Are you sure?" is one of my most favorite things in the entire universe. I love it so much. And then you hear me say, I do not want to have any toilet parts of my entire life in like related to fantasies. There is another big exception to the rule besides a robot, and that is Park
Jimin?
Jimin.
Yeah.
So Park Jimin in the beginning of Are You Sure has an incredibly violent stomach bug and essentially appears to shart his way through the state of Connecticut. And you know what? I think he just left beautiful berry mushrooms in all the forests. Like at one point, he's like kind of trying to get it together and he tries to like wrestle Jungkook on like a boat. And Jungkook literally is like, please don't. I'm afraid you're going to shit on me. Like, please stop. Because he was just like a disaster.
Aw.
And
Yeah, but
so-
that's different. That's not a meet cute, though.
That's not a meet cute. Well, I was just saying I didn't want to have like any toilet.
That's
anything,
true.
And I'm just saying. So there's my exceptions. If
Okay.
it's Park Jimin, and look, anybody
And it's
like
a robot.
and a real person, like if a real person's going through something and like you're portraying it, like of course.
Yeah.
Like, look, I have ulcerative colitis. I understand how life works. But I'm
Right.
just saying
But to contrive a shit your pants emergency
In a romance.
in a romance,
no.
we don't need to.
No one wants that.
Okay.
I like that one. That was a good one.
Thank you.
Okay, so why don't we do hot take on a beloved character?
Okay. So this is where, and it's not like a full character hot take. It's just a hot take
Okay.
on a thing that you guys love and that I love something different.
Ooh,
And it
okay.
was, so Megan sent me a reel today of We June just being sexy as fuck. And what did the picture say? Like,
It was like,
something
congratulations
to whoever gets to
whoever's
sit on that or whatever.
to whoever's
Bounce on
bouncing
that.
on it.
Yeah.
Whoever gets to
Bouncing
bounce
on
on
it.
that.
It
Yeah.
made me like, look, that's why I sent it to her because it was so funny.
It was.
Because it was like, it was also just Jun being himself. So he's like smiling and being normal. And then the caption was just so raunchy. It made me laugh out loud.
But some of it was like him working out and stuff like that. And there
True.
was a part where he was like working out and you could see his forearm vein.
Mm-hmm.
And that is so fucking hot to me.
Yeah.
Like I love the forearm vein.
Mhm.
What I don't like dislike it, but I don't like shit my pants over it like you guys do, which is entailed and nine-tailed.
Yeah.
The sex neck vein does not really do anything for me.
Really?
Yeah.
Have you been
Love-
holding
Arm
this
ones
in?
do. Arm ones do.
I
I don't
love-
dislike it. Like I think he's sexy and I
No,
think
I'm just
that
saying, have you
scene,
been holding this in? Because you've never shared that.
I think that scene is sexy. Like I think he's sexy in that scene, but then the neck vein doesn't make it any sexier for me.
The neck vein does something to me every single time. It's either the neck vein or the like lower stomach veins every time. More so than a forearm
The
vein.
stomach ones
But-
I do, but I don't know
but
what it is about
I
the
respect
forearm.
it.
And the forearm is my
I respect it.
jam.
Different
Different
yolks
veins
for different folks. Different veins for different
Yeah.
I don't know what something rhymes. So that's totally fair.
Different veins for different dames.
I had no idea you thought that though, and there we go. Other people must also think the sex neck vein is not sexy.
I don't think it's not sexy. You know what I mean? I just don't lose
You don't
my
love
shit
it
over
the way
it.
that I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
It's fair. It's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. Okay, Megan.
Yeah, you're gonna be mad. Both of you
You?
probably. No, both of you. Maybe you're not surprised, but I everyone who's listening will not be happy. I thought Ryan Gold was boring.
Okay. I mean, I'm disappointed to hear this.
But are you
you know what?
surprised?
No, I'm not surprised at all. I mean, because you were all Ungi. And look, I've said this before. We came to her private life for very different reasons. Like Leah and I both came for Kim Jae-hyuk from Coffee Prince. Like he was the reason we were
Right.
there, and we were so excited to see him.
I think
And so
yeah.
I think that definitely colored our view of his portrayal. I will admit, like Ryan Gold was just like good. Like there was never any worry that he was not going to be a good dude.
I know, and eventually when we get to like an overall hot K-drama take, this plays into that
Okay.
because I have another one. But yeah, I just needed like more. I feel like it was like a Parkman Young vehicle, but then I wasn't really like necessarily super into her character. It was just kind of like a little I just, so like overall and yeah, and then I think I was so into Eungi, which by the way, Eungi is winning the Hallyu Madness latest poll. Let me tell you
Really?
tell you who he's up against because I'm really stoked. Like, thank you everyone. He's going up against Ro Woon from The King's Affection. Right
Wow.
now, right now he's winning with 54%. Unless some ringers come in at the end.
I gotta
Like
go in and
Amy.
vote for Rowoon.
I know.
Eungi and Her Private Life is winning. I did play dirty because the photo I use in our stories for Hallyu Madness is
The shower.
Eungi getting into the shower.
Yeah.
And I'm refusing to change that. The just the polls were really tight today. So like you should go in and look at the polls because they're all like in the 40%. It's
awesome.
But anyway, I think I was clouded by Eungi and Ryan Gold just like didn't stand out for me. And I feel I love Kim Jae-hyuk. Like in Death's Game, oh my god. He's not like a romantic character. He's like a villain, but he's absolutely fantastic. But and I feel bad because so many people liked Her Private Life, but it just was not for me.
I do think, and I've said this before, I do think that if I did a rewatch of it, I might feel different because I have so much more on Bohyun love now that I think that would definitely change my view of Eungi as the
I think I would
second
like
male
it
lead.
more now. Because when I watched it the first time, I wasn't into like musical fandom stuff at all. Like we watched this so early, like this was before I got into BTS and stuff. So I think now I would find it even more endearing, honestly.
For sure.
Yeah, because looking back, the fandom I think was portrayed pretty like accurately in regards to like K-pop fandoms. Looking back,
I think I would like Ryan Gold even more now because I think that I find even more now attractive men who are not threatened by like women in their fantasy spaces. So if anything, he's only grown in sexiness to me rather than the opposite.
I want to see him being the Ajuma in her chats.
That was funny.
What was her
so
name? Like
good.
Latte, Madam Latte or something? So I messed up on this one and misread it. So it is my podcast with you all, so I can do what I want.
Yeah.
It said beloved character. I read it as like beloved actor. So I like thought of like a real person.
That works.
But I have a hot
I was
take.
trying to stay away from talking about real people just because I didn't want to get in.
So this is a fine. I feel fine saying.
Okay.
So I don't think I'm not coming to anyone. Actor who I'm about to address.
Okay.
I respect you to have agency in your career. I respect the choices that you make.
Oh no, I think I know what you're going to say.
Oh, now I need to know.
Are you going to talk about Kang Han-nul?
No.
Oh, okay, keep going.
No, Kang Han-nul, if you're listening, I will open up my marriage for you. Okay. That's another hot take. Who would you open up your relationship to if you're partnered? If not, who would you interrupt your peace for?
On Bohyun.
On Bohyun. Oh yeah. Okay, Amy. Who like you were just saying like, recently you're like, I really am like liking I want to protect my peace. Who would you unprotect your peace for?
Lee Jun-hyuk. Is that?
Oh, okay.
Am I saying his name right? From Love Scout?
From Love Scout. Yep.
Okay. So
okay, go ahead.
Kang Han-nul, you've heard me. Let's polycule this. But anyway, that's not my hot take is not.
Okay, I'm sorry. I thought I called it.
No, you're good. I'm just saying that I respect this actor's choices. And so I'm not like trying to be like a Manti where I'm like managing their career and things. I'm just saying what my heart would love to see.
Okay.
And that is for Byung Han to do a romance.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I know.
To do a romance so much because they are one of my all-time faves and they're so good. And I understand that they have like Mr. Sunshine's about as close as they've come, but really, and they ruined my life with like their portrayal.
Yes.
And so I really like the choices they make. I think they make really smart choices. I think they're obviously an incredible actor. I would just love to have one romance with that little dimpled cutie who I blow up our Instagram feed for
He
whenever
would be
like
a
I pop by.
fantastic
Romantic
romantic
lead.
hero.
No.
Yeah, I think
I
he could fix like 9 different problems in my life if I could watch him in a romance.
So in Blackout, what was interesting is he was given no romance, but he has this like friendship with this male cop that I was like, are they trying
Yeah.
to tell me that this is a romance? Like he was like they were like living together at one point and like working together, and they would like sit on the couch in their boxers together and talk about their investigation. And I was like,
Are we doing
what's
that?
I was like,
Yeah.
what's
So
canon?
let me be clear. When I'm saying a romance for Byung Johan, I also mean I am fine with any type of romance that is.
Yeah.
So you give me whatever it is. I just want to see that man. Like I want to see that man kiss on screen. And I
Me
would
too.
like to just like, I don't know. I have such a crush. And so however they want to show up. So again, Byung Johan, I know you're a regular listener. And if you are, good choices. You make such good choices with your dramas. And if you ever just decide, hey, you know what? Just don't discount the romance. If
Yeah.
you're not getting a script that you are happy with, talk to me. I will make it, I will take my desk and I will just wipe it clean. I will tell work that I am dealing with personal life and I will take my family medical leave. My time is yours. That is the pitch I make. Today I'm just going to speak directly to the people that need to go talking to. Hire me, beam me up. I will make you the romance of your dreams. All right.
Hire him. Or I mean hire her.
Yeah. So Kong Han Nul, Polycule, Byung Johan, hire me.
Glad we got that. That was a good hot take.
Okay. All right. How about a K-drama trope hot take?
Yeah, I like this one because I have one that goes I have two. I'm gonna go both ways on this one. And
Okay.
one's not a surprise. Like I think I've mentioned it before. I will never, ever, ever, ever get tired of umbrellas. Ever. I think
won't either.
umbrellas are the most romantic thing in the world.
Really
I love
are.
it. I love it.
I
What
absolutely love it.
What I would like to get rid of, though, see less of, is a piggyback ride in place of an EMT or an ambulance.
Like they need a doctor.
Like
Not a piggyback.
piggybacking someone down like 200 steps,
Right.
like from your apartment. Like when there's an emergency, I want to see emergency crews coming to get that person, because if you piggyback someone to the hospital, they're gone. They're gone by the time you get there. How are they holding on? If somebody just passed out, there's no way they're holding on to you.
Mhm.
Go all the way back to Crash Landing on You when Suri collapses because she's got sepsis from her gunshot wound, even though she's out of the hospital. And they piggyback her away. How?
Yeah. I've now
Drunk
seen
piggybacking is fine. Drunk piggybacking, adorable.
Well, I've now seen 2 K-dramas where a female character dies, actually kicks the bucket while being carried by
Well,
a
that happens
man.
in one of my favorite dramas, though.
It happens in two of my favorite dramas. I don't hate it, actually, but it's wild to me that is like a thing that
A
can
dead person
happen.
on your back. Yeah.
Right,
Like, if I'm gonna die, let me die on the back of a person I love.
Kang Han-nul.
That's my hot take.
Let me
If
die.
I'm going to have to die, let me just like be on a beach.
Actually, hold up. It's like it's like Kang Han-nul or Gudong Mei. Like you're gonna die on their back.
Right.
And that
Okay,
would
but here's the
Mia
thing.
would
So,
be
I mean,
very
sometimes
happy.
when we're talking about like historical stuff and there's
I
not
know. I'm kinda
emergency
joking.
crews that can come, it's different. I'm talking about when we're in the middle of like Seoul and somebody's just running down the street, with you on your back, hop into a taxi, hop into an ambulance. Like if there is an emergency, the piggyback ride isn't going to cut it. But here's what's funny. I put it in a book. I put a piggyback ride to the hospital in a book.
It's like a block away. It's like a block away.
I did it. It wasn't, but it wasn't like a life or death emergency. It was like a twisted ankle emergency.
Okay, fair.
But I did it. So I'm calling myself out too, because I think it's hilarious. And it's not, I think I've just seen it too much that I could do with a little less.
All right. So I have I have two. One I've talked about before. So I'm going to start with the one I haven't talked about as much. So I was trying to think of how to say it in like a way. And then I'm like, you know what? Everyone just has to trust me. I'm not coming from this from like a weird place or a like disrespectful place. And I don't think once I say it, I'm like building it up too much. I just want to be careful. A trope that I want to see more of because I'm obsessed with it for many reasons that I can unpack is I want more cross-dressing. And
Okay.
I don't think it's done well often, but some of my favorite dramas have either an element of cross-dressing or like gender swapping because Mr. Queen isn't a cross-dressing, but it is like a gender swapping.
Mhm.
But I was thinking of like King's Affection really works for me, where the heroine, the lead thinks she's a man. Um, and like, yes, can these become problematic? Of course. Don't make them problematic though. And I am so happy. Like, I just don't feel like I get them enough. And I want to have, I mean, it would be a dip. I don't want them like, I don't want to saturate the market, but I could use like 2 a year that are really good. And
Fair.
so that's one is I just feel like I tend to like, so Coffee Prince, I do love. King's Affection, I love. And then I'm going to call it like Mr. Queen right now. And there's other ones as well. Like a lot of historicals have it. I'm never going to be tired of it. I'm just never going to be tired of it. I like it almost every time.
Mhm.
And then one that I've talked about in the past that like I am fine if I like just never watch another one, or if I do, like I few and far between are Childhood Connection. I just don't care. And that like my hot take is I feel as if it's a way to imbue meaning and make it feel more faded. And I guess maybe if it was like a once in a blue moon this happened, okay. But the fact that it just happens like over and over and over, to me personally, I just think I would, I don't need to have that level of fate in my life. I guess I'm not a huge fated mate hater, but I think in general, I tend to be like, I want to see you have agency and kind of like figure your shit out. Like, I just blanked on the drama Love Scout, where like she's like the headhunter or whatever.
Mhm.
Like
Oh,
more,
yeah.
give me,
Oh, well, give a spoiler warning for their
there's no,
connection.
I'm not gonna get into like the plot
Okay.
of, I'm just gonna say that like
Okay.
stuff like that where it's like, give me adults being
Oh,
adults
okay.
and
I
like,
thought you meant because they have a childhood connection.
yeah, I don't want to talk about, but yeah, okay, no, God damn it, they do. Ah!
It's everywhere.
It is. That's what I'm saying. It's everywhere. It's almost like they have to like stamp the romance at some point with like this validation of the childhood connection. And I don't want that. I want to feel as if fate is not driving my life, but that like I am a master of my destiny to some degree. I guess like I'm not trying to input my own psychology into the world. And do I believe like fate and karma exist? Of course I do. But I also think that sparingly. Like, yeah, I just feel like it's a way it feels a little lazy, honestly, with the
If it's
writing.
shoehorned in, absolutely.
And I'm
And
just not interested most of the time.
I want to add to that because I have talked about that I love fated mates in contemporary, but it has to be done really well. And to try and cobble together a childhood connection. The one that I don't like to add to this is that their childhood connection is from when they're in like second grade and they consider that their first love. I'm not buying it.
I
I'm
would
not
find
buying
it
it.
adorable if it happened like every once in a while. Like if I picked up a book and I hadn't seen it before and I read it, I'd be like, that's adorable. That's cute.
Mhm.
It's just that I feel like it's like it gets into everything. It's
Yep.
where it's like so much like you said, like I was trying to think like, oh, here's just like adults meet. And it's like, no, they did. They snuck that fucking shit in. And it
Yeah.
had no reason. There was no need. No need.
Yeah.
It just gives it that little bit of like, ooh, it's even like more important now. And it just, for me personally, it's just not my thing. So my hot take is, I don't care. Just focus on androgyny more.
Okay, so for me, so this is more of a cliche than a trope, but I'm gonna say it because it's similar to what Amy said too. So the thing I'm over. I'm like, I feel like we've gotten away from the bug-eyed kiss, like or fish-eye
Mm.
kiss. I feel like we've gotten away from that, but we're getting still to this day, too much fall into a kiss. I think it's gotta stop. It's gotta stop because it's not. I don't get it. Like if I would fall into someone and our lips touch,
Onto
there's
their
nothing.
lips. Yeah.
Well, there's first of all, that's not going to happen. Second of all, there's nothing romantic about that. It would hurt, probably. You'd not.
Teeth would break.
I just don't like it, and I understand. Like I don't need realism in my dramas, but like there's nothing to me that's like, oh my god, their lips touch. This is it. Like it. I don't like it. It's like stop.
So the book I have coming out next, I did it. And
I mean,
did it, no, and I did it for a very specific reason because I was thinking about K-drama, obviously. And I like to put Easter eggs in for anybody who like does like know me from the K-drama world, and then like the regular romance market's gonna be like, what? But I was trying to think of yeah, I did it like very specifically because I was like, I haven't seen a lot of romances where like they do, because it's in so many K-dramas. But I don't feel like it's in a lot of like contemporary like in Western contemporary romance, falling into a faceplant mouth slap with somebody is not like a standard. Like,
oh my god, correct. It's strictly a K-drama cliche, so it is funny to put that in like a Western.
So I just thought it was like a fun thing to put in. Yeah. And so again, I don't feel like called out or anything. I purposely did it because I was trying to think. I like kind of sat down and was like, what are a couple cliches or tropes that I want to put into the story to make work? And I was like, I'm gonna do the trip and fall on the mouth because it's just like at some point I'm going to write amnesia because why not, And so it was kind of like I hit it with like that kind of a lens.
No, it's 100% a K-drama trip. It just drives me a little crazy. I'm like, yeah. I just saw it like in I'm just over it. And then as far as tropes, one thing I this is beating a dead horse. I don't care. One thing I want to see more of is the protector trope. I want to see more bodyguards. I want to see more like police officers, but they have to protect someone, like protect a witness. I would be down with that. I love the protector trope so much, and I would like to see that more.
I like it.
Yes to bodyguards for me, less for witness protection. You'd have to really work hard to sell me on witness protection.
Okay. I mean, bodyguards is still my top. I just don't understand why we don't have more bodyguards. Like, I'll never be over that.
Same. I mean, I could just do an entire episode where we just repeat that over and over and hope someone listens to us. When I go to Seoul in June, I need to just be like, can I have appointments? Who's going to take a meeting with me?
Studio Dragon.
Where I just go to different offices and say, bodyguards. That's what's going to help you. What's going to help you, get your ratings up? Bodyguards.
I'm Bo-hyun as a bodyguard. Like, how many times can you imagine? We saw him semi-bodyguard-ish in My Name, and it was fantastic. So let's just do that. Again, thank you. Okay, so do we want to do hot take on a drama?
Yes. Although we have to flag if we have a spoiler, because I definitely do.
Okay. I don't think I'll say mine because I don't think mine is like a big spoiler. And I think a heck of a lot of our listeners saw this. But this is a bigger issue than like this drama. So I'm going to talk about when the phone rings.
Okay.
So the lead characters are married and it's like an arranged marriage. Okay. So the female lead is played by Shea Subin, who I love. Is selectively mute, so she communicates via sign language. And I don't think this is a big spoiler because if you've seen, or you probably know how it goes, but we find out the male lead essentially has like cared for her for all these years, even when they first got married. So even though throughout the very beginning of the drama, he treats her like absolute garbage. Okay. And then we're told that, he's cared for her all these years, even though she's absolutely miserable.
Childhood.
What?
Since childhood.
Yeah, he's cared about her since childhood, apparently. But yet, when she's under his roof, he treats her like garbage. And the biggest thing is that he doesn't know sign language.
Yep.
He's never learned. And you're telling me that he loves her so much from a distance but he has loved her so much and has done all this for her, but yet he hasn't even taken the time to communicate with her properly.
Agree. It would have been so romantic if, like,
He knew sign language all along.
It surprised her. Like, at some point, he does it because
Yes.
I
feel like they wanted this romantic moment where she teaches him sign language, and the whole time I was like, no, you fucking
He should
asshole.
already know.
You should already know. And this is something Hazel said in the car when we were talking about K-dramas today made me think of this, because she was like confused about this one drama she watched because she's like, I don't understand, like, he was supposed to like him, but he was just so like mean to him for like no reason. And it kind of like made me think about this trope so When the Phone Rings isn't the only drama where you have this, where you think the male lead like hates the female lead, but then turns out he's like loved her all along and he's whatever. But when there's a lot of dramas, and When the Phone Rings included, where like the facts don't check out, like the facts don't check out that he's loved her this whole time. Like, you can only sell that to me up to a certain point, but when she is absolutely miserable for years and thinks that he wouldn't care if she was alive or dead, that doesn't make sense to me. That does not make sense to me, that you're trying to then sell me that everything he's done up until this point has been for her. So that's
except for learning how to communicate with her.
Except for learning how to communicate. So that's my biggest thing, is don't bait and switch me, but then like also gaslight me into, because I'm not going to forget. Like, I just watched Where He Was an Asshole to Her like an hour ago, because of course I'm binging it. So don't like try to make me forget how like he actually treated her. And that's why When the Phone Rings is still like, it frustrates me on multiple levels, like not just Argon levels, but like that's one of the things that like the lasting effect is Argon and the fact that he didn't learn sign language, and that's like not good. I didn't remember all of like the good stuff. That still infuriates me. And but again, I know that's not the only K-dramas like. There's a lot of K-dramas where we're supposed to believe that the male lead has like cared for the female lead all these years and done all these things for her. And I'm just like, but has he? Like, are you just telling me that now? And you're kind of like retconning all these decisions that he made somehow like affected her positively? I don't know.
Yeah, that's absolutely valid, and I totally agree.
So, like, learn sign language. Like, nothing's stopping you.
He should have already known. Like, that should have been the thing. He should have already known.
As soon as she like had selective mutism, he should have immediately learned sign language. And the fact that he didn't, I was like, you're really not selling me that he cared about her all this time.
Because she had selective mutism since she was a child.
Yeah.
And he met her when they were children.
Mm-hmm.
So he could have, he had a long time to learn.
Yeah, a long time to learn.
Yeah.
We have the internet, people. Okay. He could have Googled it.
So my hot take kind of goes with a patron's hot take. And okay, so one of our patrons, Caroline, says Boys Over Flowers was more like a soap opera. And I'm guessing that it wasn't, classic K-drama for her. I have defended my love of Boys Over Flowers, and I will, not stop defending how much I loved it when I watched it. But I don't think I would love it the same if I rewatched it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that I would feel the same. I came to Boys Over Flowers from The King Eternal Monarch, right? That was my first Lee Min-ho. And I was like, this man is everything. I want to see everything that he's done. And I was in my Lee Min-ho era, right? I watched Boys Over Flowers. I watched The Heirs. I watched Legend of the Blue Sea. I do think that I would love The Heirs again. I absolutely do. And Legend of the Blue Sea I liked. It wasn't like a top down for me, but I liked it. I don't know that I would love Boys Over Flowers like I did 4 years ago. And it's not because it's problematic. I just don't. I think that I had a halo on when I was watching it, so I'm not yucking anybody's yum who has rewatched it and still loves it. But I don't know that I would feel the same. I just think it's because I have more of a repertoire now of what I love and knowing what I love, and I don't think it would give me the same feels.
Mm-hmm.
So it absolutely would for me. That probably like dovetails onto a little bit of my hot take.
Good.
So yeah, I would say, so the hot take I was going to give is Fated to Love You, which is another drama neither of you have seen. And in this one, essentially the meet cute ish, it's like, they kind of are in each other's orbit, but like really the meet cute is they both get wasted and have sex thinking that they're a different person. So she has sex thinking she's having sex with her. Like they both think they're having sex with a different person. That's how drunk they are. Problematic, yes.
Yes.
But my hot take, I like some problematic, apparently. And so I will take a little problematic with because what real life is to me, of course not. Of course that is a no-no. But stuff like boys over flower, like a little bit of toxicity or problematicness is for me messy. And I don't always want to have my relationships in romance feel so safe and kind of like I do want to have a Ryan Gold. I do want to have some green flags. I just don't want everything to be that. I want to have some dramas be messy. I want to have some dramas have some problematic elements to it, and I'm going to be fine with it. I want to have Boys Over Flowers where he's got his boot and he's got the ice cream on it and he's like, lick it. I want to have them wasted and having sex. There was the other one where Business Proposal, where like it was controversial that the second leads were, drunk and got it on. My controversial hot take is I don't care. It's fiction to me and it's fantasy. And so as a result, like I'm giving consent to watching it. I'm not going out on the road and like talking to young adults saying consent doesn't matter. But I'm also not going to pretend that like we are not smart enough people that we can like separate, like we saw it on television, so it makes it okay in real life. Like I'm happy to have those conversations of why we can parse things out. But for me, that stuff, it can give me the ick. It's like, it's very dependent, but it doesn't always give me the ick. Just like Moon Lovers, 9,000 red flags. I'm like, yeah, I'd still fuck him.
He killed a horse.
You done made Mr. Sunshine? Yeah, still.
I was not into the horse slaughter.
Yeah.
And my realization about Boys Over Flowers is it has nothing to do with it being problematic. Because again, I think that I would still love the heirs because it's Choi Young-do is my favorite thing about the heirs, and he's as problematic as they come. I just feel like I had like an Lee Min-ho halo on it when I watched it, and I don't have that same halo going anymore. Mm-hmm. Like I do think that When the Stars Gossip kind of knocked it out of me.
Oh,
only one episode. I love him in
hot take on When the Stars Gossip.
To say I love him in Pachinko is very problematic, but I love him in Pachinko because it's a fantastic performance. It's a fantastic performance.
Yeah. So here, I'm going to out myself for some people who watch Western TV because this may make some people upset. And I'm going to just own it right now because I'm fine with it. Is for anyone who's watching The Handmaid's Tale, and I'm saying this in Trump's fucking road to fascist America, I find Nick sexy. Nick, who's like the fascist spy who like in Handmaid's Tale. I don't think either of you have.
I'm not watching it.
So this drama is not set up to be a love triangle. Let me be clear. Like this drama is set up to have other things going on. But the main character, June, is like, trying to like fight the system, find her children. There's a lot happening for June. She has a lot of agency. So I don't want to reduce this to like team so-and-so and team so-and-so. That's not the point of what this drama is. But in it, her husband at the very beginning of the drama gets separated from her, and he is a green fucking flag. He waits for her in Canada. He does all the right things. Like there is nothing, this man is a perfect man. And she has the best sex of her life with a secret spy to the regime who is an baddie in many ways.
I just looked him up.
And he has gigantic eyebrows.
He has very big eyebrows.
Yeah, he does.
Max Minghella.
The chemistry's hot. So just for the setup is she's a handmaid in this home of a commander, and he is like the yard boy. And so she basically is like, he has no status. if you want no spoilers for Handmaid's Tale, flip ahead like a minute. So she's like, he has no status. Doesn't even like, he's not assigned a woman, blah, blah, blah. And because the commander can't get her pregnant, the wife that she's assigned to is essentially like, I need you to start having sex with the yard boy to have this baby for me, essentially. And what happens when people under duress have sex sometimes, and it's really good, they fall in love. And it turns out that he is not just a yard boy. He is very powerful, and he is a spy in the family and helped bring down the government and cause all the mayhem. Should I find any of I don't find that element sexy, but I find chemistry sexy. And this is fantasy, and I am not falling for like Stephen Miller in real life. So there we go. Like Elon Musk is not doing it for me.
Oh God.
On the regular. I do not want to have his like 9,000th child. But yeah, there's an element sometimes where like messiness is attractive to me, and I can separate it from my own moral code in real life.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that we just all have like a spectrum of what we like in that messiness. Like it's okay that love, it's okay that's love was like one of the messiest dramas ever. And I loved that relationship. Loved it.
Yeah, so it's just the moral, and then the moral code for me at the end of my demon, I'll never be over it. People are like, it's not that deep. You get the ick when you get the ick.
Yeah, you get the ick when you get the ick. Well, this is funny because this ties into, I have like an overall K-drama take, like an overall hot take, and this ties into that. I want more nuanced red flag characters. So I'm actually talking like not like Junpyo, necessarily, like not kind of like I'm an abused rich. I mean, I'll never get over poor rich boy. Like, don't get me wrong. Like the poor rich boy.
But he really doesn't have any redeeming qualities, even at the end.
I want like, essentially what I want is I want more characters like Lee Joon-gi in Flower of Evil.
Yes.
He is red flag, but he is so nuanced. And like you like dig out the red flag in him. Do you know
one of my favorite characters ever in a K-drama? So yeah, absolutely.
Same. I want more nuanced red flag characters because that's interesting to me. So I want him to be a red flag, but then like Mr. Plankton. Hey Joe, massive red flag, but he's like very nuanced red flag. And he is a sympathetic red flag. And he is called out on his red flagness as well. So that's kind of what I want. Like give me more nuance.
I like that a lot.
In your messy red flagness. And actually, Hero and Okay, That's Love, same. He's red flags, but he is very, very nuanced, and I liked him a lot. All right, so yeah, so who has some hot takes on the ending?
And so this could have spoilers as well, so we need to flag name the drama, and then people can skip ahead if they want to.
Okay. And I think I talked about this way back when we did this podcast. This is one of our first ones. What's Wrong with Secretary Kim? So I'm going to talk about the end of a couple of things at the end of What's Wrong with Secretary Kim. Because overall, I love the drama. But there's two things that I dislike about the ending. So if you don't want it spoiled for you, fast forward a couple minutes because I'm not going to be long on this. So the first thing that I don't like about the ending is that the ending is like 2 episodes long. Like this drama could have been 12 episodes, could have been 14 episodes. It was a full 16. And everything was resolved, I think, by episode 14. And we had like 15 and 16 was like all fun and games, which don't get me wrong, I love a little fun and games. But it was like all fun and games and wedding preparation. And I got bored.
Yeah,
I was so bored with the end of that drama. So that's my hot take on the ending in general. And then my hot take in particular with Park Min-young's character.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about him.
Her whole journey of the drama is that she's quitting. So she's quitting working for, she's quitting being Secretary Kim. And she wants to find, like, what's her bliss? And at the end of the drama, she decides, nope, I'm not quitting. I'm just going to be your secretary forever. There was no actualization. Yeah. There was no, like, I have found what fits for me. It wasn't it was such a letdown for me. And even though I still love the drama, but her ending and her choice to just maintain the status quo made it feel like there was no real character journey for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think that annoyed all of us. Okay, so I'm going to talk about Mr. Sunshine, but I'm actually going to try and do it in a non-spoilery way. I'm just going to be like vague because I don't think I need to get into it actually. So there's deaths in Mr. Sunshine. There's a lot of deaths. Okay, a lot of people die. But there are like some main deaths at the end. And I will say, like, when I kind of saw the writing on the wall, I was upset. Because I kind of thought there would be like a final boss that follows Kim Tae-ri into the future, and that doesn't happen. And but in the end, I'm like, this feels necessary, especially once you really get into like the plotting of Mr. Sunshine. Once you realize that Kim Tae-ri represents Korea and that kind of like people around her represent a facet of Korea, it kind of makes sense. So as upsetting as it was to watch it all, looking back now, I honestly just look at it as like a genius in writing. And I think it's brave to do that as well. It's very brave to like kill off a lot of people in a drama, especially at the end. So you're like, you followed all these characters through 20 episodes. And some of the endings were really brutal too. And but in the end, I have to say that made me love Mr. Sunshine even more because I think it was smart writing and it was beautiful writing and it was heart-wrenching. So I guess I'd say like my hot take is just that the deaths were necessary as much as they hurt.
I
Yeah,
agree.
Okay. So I'm going to do a hot take on Reply 1988.
Ooh, someone in Patreon mentioned this.
Yep.
So.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm curious if we have the same.
Me too.
So, okay. So if you want to hear nothing about the end of Reply 1988, this is your time to skip ahead. So for me, look, I am fine with how this love triangle hurt me. And I love to be hurt in a love triangle. I love to be hurt in a love triangle so much. And it's rare that a love triangle can really hurt me because I think we've talked about how often it's very clear there's like endgame couple and then kind of like the leftover dude that just is around to like cause some conflict here and there. So I feel like they've both got like a worthy aspect. Startup is one, this is one, Mr. Sunshine was one, where like you've got worthy competition. Moon Lovers, like I am all in. I love it. I think it makes the drama. I don't think I can beat it in a drama. I honestly think it's the thing that is going to make me like my little ADHD brain zooms in and is like, zzz, 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 I've got to pay attention to this. Like nothing I like better than a very intensive, messy love triangle. This isn't messy. It was just like heartfelt because I really loved who ended up being the second male lead so much. And I still love the main lead, but I did really love the second lead. My hot take, though, is that allegedly the writers were going to kill him off at the end. And so they set up the ending to have the second male lead like die in a heroic way as like a fighter pilot. And rather than like crash into a town and like crash in some way that could have like hurt people but save himself, he was going to like crash and die. And that's the end. I guess that played very badly to people because people were like, I fucking love this character. Like, I don't want to see him die. Like, that feels very unnecessarily like tragic. I think it would have been a giant mistake.
It would have been a total like 180 from
it would have changed the entire drama.
I honestly feel like it would have been trauma porn to a level that would have ruined the drama potentially for me.
Yes.
But because I don't know. I wasn't in the writer's room. I don't know. What they ended up doing was kind of nothing with him.
Yeah.
And so
they just
let him down.
Him.
They forgot about him.
They kind of presented like there was like a scene where you see like the mother sitting in like a dark room and she's going through a hard time. Apparently that was meant to be like her mourning him. Instead, it becomes like they tried to play it off as like menopause and she was having like a very difficult menopause.
She did. It was like menopause. Oh my God, I forgot.
She acted like her world was ending because her son was meant to be dead. And then they were like, no. So we'll just make it like very hard. Menopause has come for you very difficultly. but he just kind of like fades into the ether and just kind of is like, whatever. And I guess you made me care about this character so much.
Yep.
And I was so fucking invested in him. And you did such an amazing job to make me root for him and root for who ended up being Endgame. Like, I really, by the end, I love both of the male
So, like, at least give him an ending.
Yeah.
Give me an ending.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be tied up. I mean, like, I understand, like, you could sell me on the fact, like, life just, he whatevers, and, like, life happens. And, you know, the ending does have, like, a little bit of, like, a nostalgia bittersweetness to, like, life goes on. And you move, like, you lose that childhood closeness sometimes of things, you know, like, they kind of have the alley at the end and it's a bit bittersweet. But I just felt like we really just left his character just kind of, like, out to dry in a way that just felt like it didn't connect to the rest of the show. And I think it's because they had a plan in place that was a very bad plan to begin with. And so as much as I love this drama and it's in my top 5 and I stan it and everything, it's just like that last episode just kind of was like, blah, because to me, like, I didn't need him to have a tied up in a bow, married with 2.5 children. I feel like that would have felt weird too because we weren't on that journey with him, but just something to feel like there was more than what it was.
And there was also this like somberness to the last episode that was misplaced because he wasn't dead, but they shot it that he was. And it was like a very weird thing.
The emotional end. I feel like Reply 1988 to me personally is a almost perfect drama to my taste, except for episode 1 and the episode 20.
Yeah, I agree. The Leah Marie said, I hated the end of Reply 1988. It felt like the writers pivoted a ton. It was a bummer for me because this could have been one of my top dramas, but things fell apart for me in the last few episodes.
Okay.
It totally tracks why it did fall apart in that last episode. Like, if that was the case, like, it totally tracks because it has a weird tone. And you just don't really this character doesn't really get an ending, which everybody else in the drama does.
Yeah.
Everybody else.
The grief of menopause was like a very intense, like, it just kind of came out of nowhere. And it was being dealt with such a heavy hand. Like, it wasn't.
And
just
look, menopause sucks. It does. But like, you're not sitting alone in a room grieving about it.
Yeah, grieving and like
you're sweating. You're sweating
a picture
lot.
of your alive son. Like, no one's doing.
No, I do not look at pictures when I'm having an intense hot flash. I do not like mourn over pictures of my daughter who's away at college. Like,
not like
sitting in a room.
Picture.
All the blinds are drawn, and she is like, I will no longer menstruate. And I was like, look, mourn all you want, lady. It's just obviously this did not fit. Like, you really had to like, and I get it. Like, sometimes when I'm editing, I'm like, how can I not rewrite and just like do something to mourn it? And I'm like, that's what it felt like.
Because you know in your head there's a way better way to rewrite it. But if you can avoid it, and I get it, they're trying to avoid having to reshoot anything and just did it with editing, and it fell flat.
Yeah. And as a writer, I understand exactly how that went. And I feel like I could have been like, no, I put me in, I can sell it. And it's like, oh, or not. I mean, I don't know.
Put me in, coach.
Put me in. Yeah. All right. Let's do a couple of the Patreon hot takes. And then.
Yeah. I have a funny one that I want to read from Erin. And this is like a K-drama cliche. Like, my rant is going to bed fully clothed. I'm talking pants, button down, sweater vest, jacket. Also, tiny suitcases and house moves where all your belongings fit in the back of a small truck.
My favorite is still from Because This Is My First Life. She has this tiny suitcase that she takes back and forth. And that woman has like 5 coats. I actually watched.
And it's like a suitcase from like the 1970s.
Yeah, like one of those coats would have fit in that suitcase and nothing else. Like big, like 5 big bulky coats. I'm like, girl, you did not have this one suitcase. It's always my favorite. I know they did. But
the bed fully, like going to bed fully clothed, like that made me laugh. And that was the one of the very first like K-drama cliche things I noticed in Crash Landing on You, like our first drama. I'm like, she's sleeping in a skirt, a turtleneck, and a sweater.
Yeah. Yeah, we had decided to go away for 2 nights for my daughter's field hockey tournament. Remember, my husband was like, make sure our son Dane, he's 14, make sure Dane has pajamas. And I like looked at him and I was like, Dane sleeps in his underwear. Like, when you're talking, haven't you ever woken him up in the morning? He's literally just wearing underwear.
Yeah, my son doesn't have pajamas. My son doesn't sleep in pajamas either.
He has pajama pants, but he wears them around the house.
Yeah.
He takes them off for bed.
Same with Connor.
Yeah.
I will say, like, my 16-year-old son still lets me tuck him in every night. But he always,
No.
like, I will knock on his door and be like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "Hang on." He'll like count to 10 because he like gets under the cover, like takes off his pants and gets under the covers. And then I go in and give him a hug.
Yeah. Well,
Oh,
my daughter will say, "Can you tuck me in?" But she's in a loft bed. I can't reach it. But like what she means is she wants me to walk in her room and say, "Good night, I love you." Like that's what tucking in means.
oh, so
I'll
cute.
take it as long as I can get it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. My kids just go to bed.
Yeah. Um so Asya, I think that's how you would pronounce it, Asya. This actually plays into what we were talking about
This
because
is the
she
one I
says
was looking for. Yeah.
yeah, she says my hot take, toxic relationships make for great watching. Case in point, Boys Over Flowers and The Heirs. I'm telling yeah, that's what
I'm
like
with you.
yeah, like I love the toxicity. I just want like interesting toxicity. Do you know what
Yep.
I mean? I want it to be
That's why I'm saying, like, I'm not anti-toxicity. Like I said, The Heirs is still one of my favorites.
See, I
But
prefer Boys Over.
it's a sympathetic toxic character.
I
That
like
yeah.
Boys Over Flowers better than The Heirs by a landslide.
and I like The Heirs better.
I like when I think of toxic characters, I think of like I said, like Mr. Plankton. I think of Heijo, Udo Wan's character.
Mhm.
He was also very toxic and very red flag and tempted. And again, it was one of those like I thought that wasn't super nuanced, but it was still pretty good. Like I like those. Well, I mean, it's like the play on Ryan Felipe's character in Cruel Intentions, so it's pretty good. Okay, let's talk about the When the Stars Gossip hot take.
Okay,
I
do
didn't
you know
watch that one, so I bounced after episode 1.
so read what he said. 'Cause I
So
thought it
J.M.
was
Harris says, this comment's so funny too. My hot take, When the Stars Gossip is about way more than you think, and it will age like a fine Malbec.
I laughed when I
loved it.
saw that.
I laugh very hard. That's a good comment. And I
it
love that. I what did I love that journey for him. That's like, and I say that in a not condescending way. I'm really
Yeah.
happy that he liked it.
I love it so much because I could not have left that drama with a more opposite take. And so but I also like it's not that deep for me in the sense of like I'm not just missing it. I'm just saying that like I don't have like I don't feel like I didn't dislike it to a point that like I felt angry or upset where I'm like, "Ah, I'm gonna like fight it." So when I say like it's not that deep, like I feel strongly about the points that I did not enjoy in it, and I know why it didn't work to me to some degree, but the degree to which it didn't work for me and to like the degree in which I found like the lack of chemistry and things like that, it had nothing to do with like the parts I liked best were kind of the imaginative, kooky, which isn't always my thing, but I liked the fun, quirkier elements. It almost had like some of the Yumi Cells vibe to me, like when you have the fruit flies having sex and the mice singing and just kind of the silliness of the science. Like for some reason, like I just found it to be kind of like cutely odd and I was willing to go with it. But this isn't my take. I'm not doing a takedown of When the Stars Gossip when somebody said that they are going to have it age like fine wine. I just think it is, to me, interesting to have a drama that you can. I like when things are divisive because it reminds me again of what we try to talk about when people are like, is this good? You know, because like you'll look up a book review or you'll look up a movie review. And I'm always like, it is so silly because I do it too. And I'm always like, but why do I when like
Right.
there's such polar opposite views on things? And so unless like you really know me and you know my taste, like you two, I would trust your judgments pretty well to say, oh, we think you'll like it or we don't think you'll like it. But we know each other's taste very well.
Right.
But,
Mhm.
like, to just, like, when I'm online, like, you know, and, like, somebody's like, "Let's go see a movie," and they're like, "Well, how many stars does it get?" I always wanna be like, "Does it really matter?" Because, like, we could show up and be like somebody was like, "Look, honestly, I thought that was amazing," or somebody else was like, "I didn't like it at all." And it really has no bearing on, like, is it objectively good or not? And I think, you know, you can parse out the field of criticism and, you know, there is valid criticism to be made in the world, but sometimes you're just going with that gut vibe of, like, did I vibe it or did I not vibe it? And that's a very
Mhm.
personal thing.
Yep.
Mhm.
And so I enjoy sometimes when I'm like, I did not vibe that and have somebody else be like, I vibed it so hard.
Okay, here's a funny one
Okay.
that I want to read.
Yeah.
So this is from Paige. Something I've seen often and find disturbing is blood doesn't get cleaned off or bloody hands watched. Like after a person handles someone bleeding, you see them waiting outside the operating or emergency room still with like the blood all over them, which is absolutely true. Like
Yeah.
anytime there's any sort of accident and somebody like, goes to the hospital, then you don't ever see them clean off. Such a contrast when the slightest scratch gets treated immediately. Like somebody has a tiny little scratch and you have to go to the pharmacy and get the iodine and the ointment and the Band-Aids. And yeah,
So
I think it's funny.
I think part of it is it depends what like the budgets are for some of these things, but I really think it's like because the makeup artist has like carefully applied this blood and it's probably like not just regular makeup and it's probably hard to get off.
Yeah.
Because I just watched it's a Thai BL, so again, I don't know like how big the budget is. And he had like blood running down each side of his face. And it's funny because like another character's like, let me clean you up. And you see the camera dabbing at the blood, and then the camera cuts away, and then it comes back and it's like clean. Like you don't actually see the cleaning of his face. And I think it's because they probably have to be like, take him back to makeup.
Right,
and
they
clean
probably
up
have
his
they probably have to use something special to get it off.
Yeah.
And that totally makes
That's
sense.
always think of. I feel like you never see the blood actually being wiped off anywhere in K-dramas, and I think
If it's on the clothes, like I get that. Like that's not coming out. And if you're in the emergency room, like you're not going home to change your clothes. But if it's all over your hands, I
know.
think that's distracting. Like if
And
they're
then they
still
go
there
home,
yes.
and then they're like, "Look at the blood on my hands," and they get all emotional about it. I'm like, "Didn't you go to the
It's like
bathroom?
you had that on your hands for hours.
Yeah, like where is you transferred that DNA all over the place? Like, what are you doing?" So this is one. So this is what I was referring to earlier. We have a hot take about coffee prints. And I very much respect this because her name is Elizabeth, and at first she didn't want to post this. Then she
so
came back.
we're trying to make this a safe space for her.
Yeah,
Very,
like I'm
very wrong take. No, I'm kidding.
So she said, okay, here we go. I really, really dislike the romance in Coffee Prince and found Gong Yu's character's attraction to Un-chan kind of creepy. Not because they weren't physically attractive, but because Un-chan was so emotionally immature that they felt too childish for that relationship, especially with an age gap. When they were playing make-believe with little toys at bedtime. I forgot about that.
Fuck, fine.
Me completely out of being okay with the romance. There, please don't kick me out. We are not going to kick you out.
I totally get it.
Yeah, and a bunch of other of our Patreons commented and said, I agree with you. So that's what I'm saying. So sometimes you post a hot take and you're not the only one. And that's
Megan doesn't want to see Gong Yu with a girl in a school uniform. Like
I still don't.
No,
and I didn't bring that up in this, okay, because I've talked about it enough. And someone then mentions that in the comments. I don't want that. Like that's very true. And I loved Goblin, but I wish half of it was when she was an adult. I wish over half of it was when she was an adult.
Yeah, I think that's very fair.
Yeah. I forgot that they played with toys.
So I forgot that they played with toys.
I did too until that got brought up.
And that gave me the ick. And you know what? I'm just gonna also say I can deal with problematic content sometimes. But yeah, is that icky? Yeah, of course it's icky. Blah. All right. Well, I think that this all, again, share it with us, any other hot takes. But I think the thing is just like, it's fun to have a position and defend it. It's fun to disagree sometimes, as long as it's like in good fun. Mm-hmm. It's fun to also tell the universe what you want and be like, more of this, please. More bodyguards. Byung Johan, get in a movie. Kong Hanul, be in my polycule. Universe, hear us.
And let me say too, we couldn't read all the Patreon comments because we don't have time, or we'd be here for a while because a lot of you had some really good hot takes. So this is like, I know we talk about the Patreon a lot, but we don't actually plug it. So this is like, I'm gonna say, if you have hot takes that you really want to talk about, just like join the Patreon because they do this all the time. There's a chat feature now on Patreon, which is really cool. You don't have to wait for us to post. So
yeah, you can talk to each other and
that chat, just so you know, the chat in Patreon like pops off every single day. Like someone is posting, someone is talking about the current K-dramas, someone is talking about like it's an active community. So if you have a hot take you really want to talk about, like go ahead. They kind of have their own rules now. Like they kind of police themselves. Like if you're gonna do a spoiler, you do it in a comment. You don't do it in the post. So just so you know. But go in and if you did comment with a hot take, thank you, because we did read all of them. We just didn't get to read them on air.
Yeah, they're fantastic.
Yeah. But that was fun. If you want us to do this again, let us know, because I mean we can always come up with hot takes.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot. There's so much to talk about, and
we're always good with opinions, so we're good.
And I do think that our hot takes and our views on dramas change as we keep watching and keep talking about them. Because we've been doing this for 4 years, more than 4 years now, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, let us know what you think. Join our Patreon to talk to us more, to talk to each other more. We'd love to have you. And thank you for listening, everyone.
Thank you.
Annyeong.
감사합니다. Thank you for listening to Afternoona Delight. Where can you find us outside the pod? Head on over to afternoonadelight.com. That's AFTERNOONADELIGHT.com. You'll find links to all our social media, our book recs, K-pop and K-skincare recs, and if you want even more Afternoona Delight, because really who doesn't, you can join our Patreon, where you can choose the patron level that's right for you. Join in daily K-drama conversations, listen to bonus podcast episodes just for patrons, and participate in our monthly live K-drama support group via Zoom. We can't wait for you to be a part of the community. Until next time, annyeong!